No one wants to see. So the Tank and Lamar Roach fight gets pushed back to when? March?
Like March 1st or something like that.
Yes. But
I don't know if it's confirmed or rumors, but that's what everyone's saying right now.
But the thing is, everybody's talking about why they don't want to see the fight only from Tank's perspective, and they're putting their fandom for Tank in the conversation, but no one's speaking about why it doesn't make sense even for Lamar Roach. Like, the thing about fighting Tank, it's the speed run, it's the fastest way to just blow your stock, because I'm not gonna lie, you basically become guaranteed to become a journeyman if you fight against Tank Davis. Whatever mission you were on is halted. Whatever promotion was behind you, or even if it wasn't behind you, if you're trying to build a name for yourself and then you get impatient, you're like, you know what, I want to get paid. I want to, boom, let me just get a Tank fight and take the Tank fight. For Lamar Roach, it doesn't make sense. We just had some heat go on at 130. They just promoted some fights at 130. They just had there's a whole rivalry, I guess, between Oshaki Foster and Hobson Conceição. Even though the fight was trash, the styles were trash, but Oshaki Foster, he's a good fighter, bro. Everybody knows that he's a good fighter. People like him. He just fought on, what was that? He just fought on that wasn't on Keyshawn's card, but
nah, it was on
no, yeah, he did have his own card. It's not like yeah, that fight was yeah, bro, they just headlined like last week.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. But yeah, it was 2 weeks ago on that Friday or Saturday, whatever. Yeah, it was Friday. But anyways, he's about the same he's more popping than Lamar Roach, Oshaki Foster. He's more pushed and promoted than Lamar Roach, and he's at 130 and he has a belt. Well, I don't know why fighters who are in their weight classes, it's like they do all of this work for just to fuck around and get all of their momentum shut down because they get to be popular for a week or a couple weeks, and you fight Tank Davis and then you get knocked out. And mind you, everyone is bashing his fight, and it's not even Lamar Roach's fault. No one's even speaking about him. I'll say this: he has a belt in his division. Oshaki Foster has a belt in his division. Why not try to unify or be undisputed or fight some, like you could have fought on ESPN. You could be making a name for yourself. What is it about? I know the money is life changing, but but the fact is, if you build a foundation to where you can be your own plug, if you could be your own plug and stop playing these games with your career, with people, you know what I mean? People, they play these games with their career. Frank Barton is another one of those guys. 135, he was starting to build himself, but PBC hasn't been very good at building fighters in some time, because it's like they build you enough to make sense for them to feed you the Tank, and that's all they care about, or to feed you to one of their stars. Like, they put their stars on one end and everybody's in a rat race to get to that end. It's like if you had, that horse race at the carnival where you got the little horses and you got to shoot the water to make the horse get to the finish line. It's like, imagine just a picture of like David Benavidez, Canelo, Tank Davis, fucking, well, yeah, I guess Errol Spence not in the mix, Tim Tszyu not in the mix like that anymore, but just like say them the big three, whatever, because people are jumping up and down weight classes to make these fights, and everybody's career, they're just making it fodder in this rat race just to get knocked out by one of these dudes to say they did. And the culture of losing to become famous, I feel like that started with Canelo, because he lost to Floyd Mayweather and he blew up. Tank Davis, everyone he fights, not everyone, not all the black fighters, but I mean a lot of the Mexican fighters he fought. Well, not a lot of them, but Isaac Cruz, because I guess he was supposed to be like the Mexican Mike Tyson. But the people that he fights and that he beats, they get popular. They're talked about before and a little bit after, until you see them fight again, and then they're trash and they get beat up in their next fight because they were never that good. And people be like, Tank Davis changed them. They're not the same, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, what are we talking about? We're talking about a guy. This is the smoke and mirrors. Tank Davis is a 30-year-old prospect, bro. He's a 30-year-old contender. He's been fighting and contending for belts for so long. And in the meantime, anyone that's up and coming with some talent, if you sign to PBC, you're basically a ticking time bomb because they're just going to feed you to the machine of one of those three guys I named. David Benavidez, he made it out the other side because he's playing ball above the politics right now. He said, I'm going to go to 175 and go beat the guys who beat that guy. But Tank's undefeated. So it's hard to do that for the other guys. If I were Lamont Roach, considering that this fight is being pushed back and all this type of stuff, bro, I would be going after Oshaki Foster, Hobson Casesau. I'd be trying to defend my belt. You've never even had a fight at 135, I don't think. He's a 130 pounder. And your first fight is Tank Davis? I mean,
no, that's not smart.
This is what's annoying about this shit right now. It's like people are willing to crash, and then we gotta and then the media is just force feeding us people we don't actually care about, because we like, even if you go watch Lamont Roach, he's not a fighter that we would have cared about organically. Like, I watched him fight, bro. Nobody cared about how he fights. Like, no, ain't nobody tripping about Lamont Roach. I'm not gonna lie. But that's something that could be fixed if he decided to unify at his division, right? Pull it in a way where in a division where we don't know who any of these niggas are that he fighting, but we know Inoue has been undisputed in his division. Same thing with Bud. We didn't know much about who he was fighting, but he became undisputed at either 135 or 140.
140. Yeah,
140. And it was against people who we really didn't know that well until you go back and you read up on them and you do your homework and things like that. You know what I mean? And you see, oh, these guys were real, you know, okay, cool. They're esteemed. They have a decorated background. And then that helps build up to the big fights. That helped build up Bud Crawford to fight Errol Spence and make it matter. But this thing where you got all these fighters who just, okay, I'm going to go pro. Who knows how many years they spent fighting? Right? But all of that is just because we doing all of this hard work to get slept by Tank Davis and then become a journeyman. Bro, did you really sit up there, blood, sweat, and tears coming out of DC, right? Your entire career, your whole life's work, just to get knocked out in like a couple of rounds? I don't know if he was serious about. The only person I believe who seriously poses a threat right now, right? Shakur, and you know, I don't think he's fighting Devin because Devin's at 140. Honestly, Kenny and them already said they're not moving to 140. You can call that what you want, but that's just what they said. Shakur and Keyshawn are the only two fighters who I think give Tank Davis something to worry about. Other than that, I'm not gonna lie, I don't see it from Lamont Roach. If Frank Martin strong ass couldn't get none, you know, that work done that needed to get done, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm getting annoyed with seeing, like, shame on even the fighters who are willing to throw it all away to get knocked out by Tank Davis. And I get the money is life changing, but you got to have a vision. And it's hard to be like it's easy for me to say that from the seat I'm sitting in, to be like, bro, legacy, right? But you see how it pays dividends though. If you actually build yourself as a fighter, you can be an independent fighter, or you could just be a fighter who just cares about legacy to the point to where, no, you're not going to let them promotional companies hoe you. No, you're not going to let people just feed you to the machine whenever they feel like. Why would you want to become fodder? This is the issue. This is the main issue I have with the whole phenomenon that is like the Tank Davis and the PBC machine. It's just the fact that, like, you see how they get some of these fighters, they come in, they feed them limited competition, build their records up. Jerron is 30-0, but all the people that he fought, no one had challenged him until the Karen dude was following him around from promotional company to promotional company, and that style was something that, you know what I mean, gave him a lot of issues. But they set their fighters up to be exposed at some point, and when they get exposed, yeah, they made all the money, but man, their stock is just gone. And it doesn't help that Al Heyman doesn't say shit at all. He never speaks. You don't ever hear him come out publicly and say anything. So if you're a fighter over there, you're trying to protect your stock really on your own, because because you're left out to dry by the company. If you decide to take that big fight, that tough fight, they'll let you take it. But man, that's the reason why people like Floyd are able to get into the business side and do what they do, you know? But the Tank Davis or the PBC machine that exists generates a lot of income, but there's also it's also a lot of the reason why there's so many smoke and mirrors in boxing. Started with Canelo. He jumped all over the place. He was on PBC. He went to the zone, robbed the bank. You know what I mean? He was all over the place. People try to say it started with Floyd, but Floyd, he fought all the demons at his weight. You know what I mean? People were trying to dodge drug testing and things like that. And that was when they weren't fighting back in the day, like Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? He didn't want to take that drug test when it was time to take it. He tried to pay money, all these things to not have to do that randomized Olympic style drug testing. That's that. But we're talking about now. Started
and to find out he was on meth, that's just crazy.
That too.
Boy was on meth fighting.
But where it's now where people are playing weight games and doing a lot of weird stuff in the sport, it's just making it so watered down. To see these guys get in the ring, we know that they're gonna lose. It's a foregone conclusion. Like, it's getting to the point to where the matchmaking is, they're pissing on us and telling us it's raining, and then they want to charge you $99 for the shit. You know what I mean? That's why I appreciate Turkey for making the pay-per-views $20, making the fights happen to where he's like, look, I will pay y'all fighters. We make $13 billion a day in oil money. He's basically the ambassador of sports of Saudi Arabia and all this stuff. He's responsible for a lot out there, believe it or not. Man's got the cheese, but he just not gonna let you fight a bullshit ass fight. Everyone who went over there that was being built or being hyped up, man, they got exposed.
Bad.
People were getting exposed. You know what I mean? Andy Ruiz got exposed. Even though he didn't lose, he got exposed. Jared Anderson got cooked. Bad. You know what I mean? Even that Bud fight where he fought against Madrimov, he didn't get exposed, but it showed that he truly is a great fighter. But he had to really come different, and he had to fight a fight that, you know, he had to really work in that fight. Believe it or not, you know, it's not about how many punches were thrown. It was the style that he was up against. He had to really figure some shit out instead of going in automatically knowing he was gonna do. So everybody who's signing, who's going over there, be careful. You got to come correct. You better be careful. I'm pretty sure that's why Tank didn't go over there to go and run that fade when he said, Turkey, give me 2 Ferraris and blah, blah, blah to fight Devin. And Turkey was like, man, I got money for you. Come on, man, let's make this fight happen. And then Kenny and them want to be like, we're not going to 140. He got to come down. Like, because Turkey is not going to play with you. He's going to make you fight.
So it's so dumb what they're doing to Devin right now. They're just making Devin have like stalemates now. He should have fought Teofimo. He should have fought Tank. He should have fought all these people, but nobody want to fight this dude.
It's not even that he should have fight. It's just the fact that they're not taking the fight. And then even with people like Teofimo, where he's like trying to be a diet version of what Canelo and Tank Davis actually are, where it's like, but you're not good enough. You got walked back by Claggett, the Canadian dude or whatever. He got walked back by a Randy. Sandor Martin robbed him. Jermaine Ortiz robbed him. You know what I mean? Tio is trash. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely not cut from that same cloth. And there's a reason why he said, the Devin stuff, that was cap. We not fighting. You know what I mean? I don't know where they got these rumors from. Like, we know he's probably never going to fight Devin Haney, because if he does, he's cooked. So I think that with the Tank Davis backlash, it's good for the sport. I'm glad Keyshawn is calling him out, but the machine that exists around him is a tumor in the boxing space, because people like it's making up and coming people like Lamont Roach or Frank Martin. They're willing to throw their whole career away to get knocked out by Tank Davis, to get knocked out by Canelo, instead of unifying in their division, crafting their own lane and putting in the hard work. Y'all are willing to bail this man out from fighting who he's supposed to fight to get paid one good time. Mind you, NBA players made hundreds of millions of dollars and went bankrupt. You think that 30 million or 10 million or whatever is about to, come on, man. When you're never going to get paid like that again. So it's like your lifestyle actually can't change if you want to retire. It can't change. So most of y'all taking these fights, y'all are in your 20s or early 30s. You got too much life to live to bet on the fact that Tank Davis is going to change your life forever. You know what I mean? And then you actually have more to lose than you would think, because Tank signing for 200 million, this and this and that, making a lot of money. Bro, these guys are getting 10, 20 million, maybe even 100 million. And that's a lot of money. But you have so much life to live. And a lot of these guys don't have the best money management skills. I don't think it's going to last we're going to start hearing as we grow older, some of these guys filing for bankruptcy, getting sued, catching cases. Like, things are going to be coming back. It's going to be nasty work. It's going to be nasty work. And you could say, oh, bro, why are you being this? Why are you being that? I'm just using my brain, bro. Just given how history plays out. And you got all of these dudes that used to fight in prize fights that are old and broke. NBA players, ball players, NFL players, people that make serious money through athletics, getting older and they're broke, having to sell all their assets, having to, So the way, again, doing it for legacy is the way to go, because now you're the plug. Now you can get paid off of fighting other dangerous fighters, former champions, contenders, defending your belt, doing it the right way. And you can build yourself a proper brand to be known as, oh, you know what? That guy's a great fighter. He's a hell of a guy as well. He has dignity, integrity, things that the sport is missing. That's what we need. This Tank Davis and Canelo machine shit is bad for boxing. I'm not gonna lie. It's terrible for boxing. And shout out to Turkey for challenging everybody. And off the rip, as soon as you come out to go function with Turkey, you seeing these guys, they're getting knocked out. They're losing fights. They're getting beat up. They're challenging themselves. If they do take the W, it's a challenge. Like, shout out to him. That's W matchmaking. With that being said, drop your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about the Tank Davis machine? What do you think about Lamont Roach and Tank Davis fight being pushed back to March? Do you care? And who do you want to see, honestly? Who do you want to see? Who do you think gives Tank the most challenging fight? Just drop all that in the comment section. Leave a like. With that being said, I'm going, man.